Hi, this is Melanie. Quick disclaimer, I just got off work. I do not care that my shit is not well together. I don't care. I'm tired. I worked all day. I look like someone who's worked all day. These videos are intended for someone who is thinking about what transition, like, I guess what it might look like for them. I'm at the 10-month mark of HRT right now. Um, so, or someone who is supporting a trans person, or someone who just wants to be informed on what that process looks like, what it sounds like, different daily experiences they might have, how good and bad ways that we dealt with those. So, this is intended to be a channel that is supportive. If you are not supportive and you are hateful, you will be just kicked out of the comment section. I don't mind views being expressed that are different from what's expressed here. I welcome those opinions. I welcome those discussions. I demand that they are respectful and not hateful. Otherwise, you will just be removed. And for the last video, I did have a commenter who said something particularly shitty. First comment I had to remove. And to that person, I would, if she finds her way back here, your comment was laughed at by my wife and I. It was not taken seriously. It was given as much consideration as it deserved. And we affirmed how much we love each other. So your goal was not accomplished. That's all. So, that being said, I will get right into the content of the video, which is talking to my wife the first time and telling her I was trans. I remember that, I think I was scared, but not for her reaction. I was scared for the commitment. I knew this was going to be a long road. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew it wasn't going to be a quick fix. I knew I didn't have a bunch of money. I don't have money to fix my teeth. I don't have money to fix my nose. I don't have money for facial feminization surgery, for bottom surgery, for any surgery. I have no money for all that shit. I'm just a normal person who goes to work every day. We'll see what life looks like in 5 years, right? We'll get there. But as of right now, that's very scary. I was worried about losing my job, which I ended up losing. I make half as much money as I did before. That will be different. As soon as I'm passable, that will change. I will go right back to probably the income I was at before. So, talking to my wife, I didn't have an egg break moment per se. I don't remember a moment where I was like, this is the moment my egg broke. It just doesn't stick out like that to me. I barely remember what I was thinking at the time. I just remember coming to some kind of conclusion okay, I can no longer deny to myself that this is true. This is true. I can't deny it anymore. Now that I'm 100% on it, I need to tell my wife. And her response to it was essentially hey, from her perspective, I knew the whole time. It wasn't like I concluded it and then talked to her. It was like I had concluded this and kept it from her the whole time. And she understood from her own perspective why I might lie about that. But she didn't understand why I thought she wouldn't support me, or that I thought that she wouldn't support trans people. That bothered the fuck out of her. And she was like, am I living a lie? Has my relationship been a lie? Not because I'm with a trans person who wasn't telling me they were trans. Am I with someone who actually doesn't trust me like they say they do? What is our relationship built on? I thought no one knew. So that was interesting. She got pretty upset in the moment. And I more or less said to her, hey, baby, I just found out for sure, and I'm telling you now. So, there's not been any, deceit or one for that. I legitimately am just now telling you because I just found out. I found out, and now you're finding out. And to her, she had known the whole time, or at least since very early on, she was not confused. I was confused, but she was not. Nor was her mother, nor was her sister. Right? The people that I had lived with before and spent a lot of time with were not confused. My wife, was visiting, like, this is probably 3 or 4 months after we had this conversation, maybe more, I'm not sure, but my wife was visiting her family, and Trump had just been elected, so it was like a day or two later or something like that. Like, one followed, like, she went on vacation. During vacation, Trump got elected. Her and her family are at a bar, and my wife starts crying. She's very overwhelmed. She is scared for me. Her family asked her what's going on, and her response was like, hey, Trump just got elected. I am super, super scared. And she's like, I have some news to tell you, that I have a wife. And, you know, my spouse is trans. And I remember, well, I don't remember her saying it, but I remember my wife telling me the story of her mom looking at her, and I know her, so I can imagine exactly her expression, the tone, and everything. She's got like a hard northern accent too. So she goes, baby, I just have one question. How long did it take her to tell you? And my wife looks back at her and goes, bitch, the whole time. So like, these are people that knew, right? They were not surprised. They were surprised I didn't know. So that was cool. It did end up being a thing where like everyone in that capacity was super supportive. No one was hateful. That was probably my biggest fear, was that my relationship would change. And it did. It was much better. My relationship got a lot better. We are a lot more open with each other now because I'm more open with myself. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable emotionally. I'm a lot more in touch with my emotions. I feel them a lot more. So I've experienced very positive changes internally. The negative experiences I have are because of other people being shitty. It has nothing to do with me and what I'm internally going through. So I talked to her, and her reaction was to be upset at first, and then once I clarified, like, hey, no, for real, like, I just found out. Looking back on it, it's very silly that I didn't know, but that's a video for another time. For this video, I talked to some friends also. I was really scared of that too. I did not want my friends to change. I didn't want our relationships to change. And for the most part, they haven't. I still get the same stupid fucking Instagram videos from one of my friends. One of my other friends, we still had very long, I guess, like, arguments and discussions about things that we had differing opinions on, or we would just play devil's advocate for the other one because we just thought it was fun as an exercise to be like, hey, I'm going to represent this opposite viewpoint, and we're just going to talk about this and argue our different points and explore that. And we had a lot of fun doing that. At least I did anyway. I learned a lot. I had a lot of internal growth and self-discovery. So it can be scary. The one thing I didn't have to deal with was my family. My family gave up on me a long time ago. When I told them I was dating a trans lady a long time ago, like, first off, I got kicked out because I wasn't going to church on Sunday. On my one day off, like, fucking, Dad, I work more hours than you. I legitimately work more hours than you, and I do physical labor. You sit at a desk all day and take phone calls. I'm sleeping. Fuck God, and fuck your church, and fuck you. That was after I got kicked out, for the record. I didn't say that and then get kicked out. So then I told him about a year later that I was dating a trans lady, and it was just like, oh my God, it was terrible. Our relationship ended because he was drunk. He was on sleep medication and some other prescription meds. And after he challenged me to a fight, keep in mind, this dude's got, like, surgery in his neck, right? Like, dude can't do that. He's, like, in his 50s. I think I was, like, 30 at the time, or 29 or something like that. And he, like, straight up challenged me to a fight in his kitchen. Are you kidding? I showed up, I didn't show up, like, we planned, I tried to rekindle the relationship. I planned a visit on his birthday. We were going to watch the Super Bowl together. And that's how that ended. So he challenged me to a fight. I, of course, declined and just tried to go home. He made a whole big scene, and at the end of it all, is like, you are not worth having feelings over. That's the last thing that my father said to me. So I didn't have to worry about going to him and explaining that I was trans and going through that. My advice to anyone that is going through that, if your family is not supportive, that's really shitty. Definitely don't put yourself out of a home. Don't be homeless over it. If you are relying on your family for income or something like that, like you need a place to live or that's your only ride back and forth to work, I would not put yourself out for it. More in that situation, I would advise someone get your ducks in a row. Figure out what it looks like to be independent so you are not reliant on them, and act accordingly. Set yourself up for success before you pull that trigger. So for me, I didn't have to worry about that one. But it was scary. I didn't want my friendships to change. I don't feel like they did change. I really don't. I feel like if anything, I'm closer to my friends and they're closer to me because I represent myself more accurately. Like, we're always going to be closer to people that we open up to and that we're vulnerable with, and that's been a great change. So it's scary to talk to everyone. There's also the fear in the back of my mind, like, what if I end up not being trans? What if I just think this? I think that's normal. I've usually heard trans people that are like, hey, I didn't know if that was really, I didn't know if that was really me or not. There are other people who were super convinced, and again, I think as far as I'm concerned and what convinced me and what definitely convinces me today, like 10 months after HRT has started, and knowing that I was trans for longer, definitely my opinion has changed. Damn, do I just wish I was born a fucking woman? I wasn't, so I wish that the second puberty began that I was allowed to treat this and that I was in an environment that was supportive enough for me to deal with that. For me, anytime I expressed something feminine, I got reprimanded at home. You know, like, again, mega Christians, whatever. Not all Christians are like that. I'm not even pretending that. But what I will say is that people are going to be the way that they are, and it sucks when religion gets in the way. Again, another video for another day. It's scary. And for me, I had to be willing to say, like, hey, if my good friends are not willing to love me as a trans lady, they're probably not my real friends. And man, did I not want, like, I was just hoping that my friends were not shitty people. They ended up not being shitty people. I don't think I lost a single friend over becoming trans. I think there's a couple people I talk to less now. But not because they were like, you know, oh my God, you're a fucking, you know, fill in the blank. I just don't accept you like that. And I don't get that. Even my MAGA friends don't fucking bother with the MAGA lines. I think one of my MAGA friends and I just, like, had some debates about it, and we just had some discussions, and I think we each learned stuff. But he never attacked me that way. He said that he thought certain things about me, but he never shit on me for it. He still accepted me as his friend. He accepts that I'm trans. I love that guy. We've had a lot of good times together, and no amount of me being trans or not being trans is going to change that. So, yeah, very scary. Best advice I can give is just be true to yourself. Again, I was super worried about my relationship changing in a bad way. And if it did, then that's okay. It doesn't mean that that's the end of my life. Like, she is my best fucking friend, and I would hate to imagine life without her, especially as big of a support as she has been to me. And again, she's just my best fucking friend. I really, really, really did not want that to change. I was willing to not transition if it meant that I could keep my relationship together. And I don't know if that's true of everyone. I don't know that I would say that today. I think today at this point, I would, like, let's rewind the clock like a year and a half ago or whatever it was. Again, I don't really remember. But if it's a situation where it's like, hey, I think I'm trans. Actually, I don't think that I know that. And she's like, ew. Okay, then. Looks like we're not probably as compatible as we thought. I think that's probably my answer today. I'm very, very glad it never came to that. So, yeah, it is a test of your friendships. And not in the sense of like anything. I guess I say that as in it's a test of your friendships to the point that you're going to find out which one of your friends actually support you and which ones are not supportive. And it's scary. It's really scary to imagine people that I love not being around. And especially when we share friends groups. Like in an online gaming community, to have one of your friends turn on you like that when you all have mutual friends, like that's scary. Here's to picking good friends. So, yeah, hopefully it's an empowering message. Love yourself, stay true to yourself, find supportive people. That's sort of been the theme, right? Is like, don't let others rent space in my head. Surround myself with supportive people who love me and accept me for who I am, and excommunicate the ones that don't. My life will be better. And I don't even think that's trans specific. I think that's just in general, that's life. So anyway, I think I'll probably cap it there. I don't have a whole lot else to say on the subject. I'm sure I'll expand some other time on it. But I think the bit about what her mother said was funny, so I wanted to share that. And what she said in response, like, bitch, fucking, she didn't, bitch, the whole time. She waited the whole time to tell me. Like, I think that shit is hysterical. And that I was the last one to find out. I was the last bitch to find out I was trans. Joke was on me. I don't know what else I can say. It happens that way sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to go get some sleep. I'm going to go get very stoned, and I'm going to forget what my name is because the weed here is good.